Congratulations, Liverpool. It was a hell of a moment, really, wasn't it? Right at the end of the game. Here's how things stand with 2 games left to play in the Premier League. Can't believe we've only got 2 games left. Feels like a short season, but at the same time feels like a really long one, if that makes sense.
It feels like it's gone on forever.
Now, Liverpool are 5th. They are on 63 points. Chelsea are in 4th, just a point ahead of them on 64. Then you've got Leicester in 3rd, who are 2 points ahead of Chelsea. So it's really tight. And also, Chelsea play Leicester tomorrow night. And then on Wednesday night, Liverpool go to Burnley. That game is live on talkSPORT. Sam Matterface comes for that one. Jamie O'Hara, sorry to put you on the spot.
Yeah, you like doing that, don't you?
I'm sorry. Imagine being a pundit and being asked for an opinion. Who's going to miss out?
No, you asked me this question earlier, and I kind of killed myself because a week ago I said that the top 4 would be as it is.
I like how you went all Oliver there. Killed myself.
Yeah, killed myself. But I didn't realise that Leicester had to play Chelsea. So that really changed it. It changed it a lot because...
But you're not jumping ship within an hour, surely.
No, I'm not. I'm going to stick with the fact I think Liverpool will drop points. I wasn't overly convinced with them against West Brom. It took the goalkeeper to score the winner. West Brom had a goal ruled out, which should have been a goal. So, I think that I think they'll drop points against Palace on the last day. I just think it's going to be a big pressurised situation for them, and Crystal Palace are just playing with kind of a bit of freedom now because their season's kind of over. So, and they've got some top players in Eze and Zaha. I really like them. So I just think that they're going to drop points, Liverpool.
I'm going to read you a stat out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 unbeaten now in the Premier League. There's 3 draws in there, but they've won the last 3. And I hear what you're saying about it took a last-minute goal from their keeper. But Ali McCoist, who do you think has more momentum?
More momentum?
Because actually, one thing Jamie said earlier on was that Palace are now playing with more freedom because they've got nothing to play for. But on the flip side of that, you've got Liverpool with something to play for.
Yeah, I get it. But I agree with Jamie to an extent where I watched that Palace game. I thought Palace were excellent second half. And you're looking at guys like Eze, Zaha, Benteke scoring again. And Liverpool going down there and winning 7-0. Sometimes things like that just come back to bite you. But I honestly think, if you're asking me for an opinion, and it's a tough one, I think if Leicester do not take anything from the bridge, I think Leicester will be the one that miss out.
Do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I mean, it's so hard to... You can't predict, Football, this is why we love the game, because it is unpredictable. And, things happen. Season. It's going to go down to the wire. It's going to go down to the last day.
Yeah.
So it's great. That's what we want. It's impossible to predict because on the day, something crazy might happen. Someone might mistime a tackle, get sent off, and then, and it changes everything. So
and we're talking... You're right, Jamie. We're talking about Alisson's goal, giving Liverpool the lifeline. It's a game they could have and probably should have lost.
Yeah. It's such
Never mind winning it.
And that's what I've found this season. Everything's so fine margins. It's just them little percentages that make the difference. Man City have run away with it because they've been awesome all season and they're consistent. But it's the little percentages in certain games where you look back and go, God, if we won that game or we took that chance, and it's just the Premier League's become so competitive now that it's almost hard to predict what's going to happen.
Jamie, what about your thoughts on Chelsea? Because we've been singing their praises since Thomas Tuchel came in. It was a big blow actually losing to Arsenal, I think, and also losing in the FA Cup to Leicester. What does that do to a team? Because you could either look at it and say, right, well, it might be a good thing to lose a couple of games when you're going into a Champions League final, just to sort of...
Never good to lose games.
Okay, fine. I'm trying to level it out. Or what's the other side of this?
I just think losing to Arsenal just was such a bad result because it just put all sorts of pressure on them. If they win that game, it's kind of like they can kind of coast over the line. They can concentrate on the sort of the cup finals that they've got. Losing that game kind of made their end of the season like every game's a cup final. They have to win them. So it just puts more pressure on the squad, puts more pressure in your mind as a player, thinking we've got to go and win, we've got to go and get results. And I think you saw that obviously losing to Leicester, that the pressure is on them. They could They could throw it all away.
Quite easily. Jamie, I think they've got to beat Leicester. This next game, never mind Champions League, never mind the next thing, their next game is absolutely vital, Chelsea.
Yeah, someone's just texted in has made a really good point. He said that, the fans are going to be in the ground at Anfield in the last game of the season.
Change your mind?
Yeah, I can't see Palace getting a result.
Liverpool top 4?
That's it. But see, like little things like that, the changes, like the fans are going to be back at Anfield on the last day of the season. What an atmosphere that's going to be.
Imagine if it does come down to the wire as well, and that game becomes the game that if they win, they secure top 4 and they do it in front of the fans. It's almost kind of
great moment.
written in the stars, isn't it, in a way? But look, they've got Chelsea and Leicester to get past first. Leicester as well. So ultimately, if Leicester, they are playing Chelsea
and then
next,
Spurs.
and then
Chelsea
Spurs.
and Spurs.
There it is. Spurs at home, so they'll have their fans back in the King Power.
See,
for
that's
Spurs
what I mean.
at home.
I mean, they've without doubt, you'd think, well, certainly on paper, get the 2 hardest games. Although you don't know effectively what Spurs would turn up, but that and for that reason, I just think from Leicester's point of view, they have to get something against Chelsea.
What about if you look further down? So Spurs are on sixth with 59 points.
Yep.
They're level with West Ham United as well, 59 points. So that kind of, those positions, do you feel like they're going to change up much, or do you reckon that's your Europa League?
Again, I mean, I think Everton have just been really poor recently. They really let themselves
home form
go.
has been unbelievably poor.
Yeah,
Jamie.
and it kind of they've just gone under the radar. If it was Jose Mourinho in charge at Everton, he'd be absolutely getting slaughtered for the way they've been performing recently and how they've completely just dropped down the table. And it's kind of acceptable, They've got Carlo Ancelotti in charge, and they spent a few quid. So, they should be asking questions about how they've finished the season again. But I think Tottenham, I think West Ham. I want to see West Ham get Europa League football. I really do.
So do I.
Even if it's going to be the Europa Conference League, whatever that is. I mean, what is that nonsense? Who comes up with a plan to play Europa League Conference? I mean, what is that about?
It's not ideal, really, is it?
Jamie, who do you want to go in at Spurs next season?
As a manager?
Do you want Ancelotti?
I've heard he's great.
Ancelotti.
Do you want him a lotterly?
I think
very much. I
tell you what. I interviewed Graham Potter, and I wasn't overly keen on it at the start. I wasn't sure if he was the right step for Spurs. But actually, after sitting in a room with him and actually interviewing him and seeing how well he spoke and seeing how confident he was in his philosophies and how he wanted to do things, I really warmed to the idea, and I think he'd be a good appointment.
Do you think Graham Potter knew at the time that he was in a job interview for Spurs?
No, because I threw the question at him about it, and he batted it away, obviously, as you would, because he's the Brighton manager, but come out with a great line saying he's obviously not a sexy appointment because his name's Graham. And
Grahams aren't sexy.
And I was like,
I'm sure Mr. Souness will be ecstatic with that.
Hang on a minute, I'm sure we can think of a sexy Graham. There's a few listening.
Is there a sexy Graham out there?
Graham Norton? No.
Graham?
I'm
throwing Souness in, surely. No?
Is he sexy?
Maybe he was. When he had his tash and stuff, that was probably quite sexy, wasn't it?
It's a good argument. Is there a sexy Graham out there?
We've got to come up with one.
At TS Breakfast, 81089. The listeners never let us down.
That referee.
Let us know, sexy Graham. Which
Call
one?
him again.
The sexy one.
The sexy Graham referee. Graham. What's his name?
I genuinely can't think of a sexy one. Graham Poe.
Yeah,
there must be one.
He wasn't.
I've got to
sexy.
have a look.
You having him as sexy?
No, I just said he wasn't sexy.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Sorry about that,
I thought
Graham.
you were saying he was.
I think
I
Graham Potter's come up with a fair statement. There are not enough sexy Grahams out there.
I mean, is there anything Graham Potter could do to make himself a bit more sexy in terms of like changing his wardrobe up or something?
No, he looks smart.
Haircut? Yeah, he's got quite a sort of
smart.
basic
I love.
haircut,
He had
hasn't he?
good confidence about him, the way he handled himself. He's just, his name's Graham.
Can't be any reason why.
And it's Graham with an E. You know what I mean? It's not even Graham with an H.
Oh, it's even worse.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods. Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.